I'm Sean Thomas, and this is Local Flight, a show where I travel to some of the best bars in the country to meet amazing mixologists and challenge them to create innovative cocktails using unique local ingredients. In this episode, we're bringing the pickle back in a big way. I'm in New York City, the place where the revival of craft cocktails and classic bar culture all began. My first stop is a place called Distilled, where each and every one of Benjamin Wood's cocktails tells a story of its own. Benjamin Wood.
Yes.
I'm Sean Thomas.
Sean, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to be here, sir.
Welcome.
Well, let's get right into it. Let's play the name game. Why are you guys called Distilled?
But distilled obviously conjures up kind of thoughts of beverage. Secondly, we like to toy with a lot of the definitions, things like refinement, a separating of or creation of something new from kind of a raw substance to a finer substance.
That's awesome. I would love to try one of these said cocktails.
It would be my pleasure, Sean. Today we're going to try a cocktail that we call the Smugglin' Rum. Now, all of the cocktails on the menu tell the story of distillation, right? So, in a way, this is a refinement of the classic old fashioned.
Amazing.
We have some lavender syrup that we source from Harney & Sons over in Soho.
Do you source locally when you can?
As much as possible.
Those just classic Angostura bitters?
Angostura bitters. This is aged rum that we're using, and it's extra añejo, which we've actually put bananas in. We soak them for 24 to 48 hours, and then we pull them out, tasting it throughout the process to where we feel it's appropriate.
I imagine the natural sugars in the banana mellow out the rum.
Completely mellow out the rum. So basically we just add ice and stir in the style of an old fashioned. The idea here, of course, is to balance temperature and dilution. And a little orange oil, some lemon oil as well. Spread the oils over the cocktail. And the story behind this is during Prohibition, which everybody's kind of fascinated with in the United States, they literally used to take bottles of rum, they would stuff them in big bunches of bananas and put them on banana boats and smuggle the rum into the United States. The idea was to tell that story with this cocktail.
Smuggling rum.
Cheers, salud.
Salud. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's solid. That's really solid.
Thank you very
well
much.
Well done. Very unusual combination between the lavender and the banana, but it really works.
Appreciate it.
So are you doing mainly riffs off classics?
It's a good way to start, I think. Whenever they've been done well already, to use that as a building block to go into something else, I really like to use.
Well, just staying in line with this idea of keeping things local, New York actually has almost a 400-year pickle history, and I came across these wonderful guys at Brooklyn Brines that are sort of reviving that history down in the heart of Brooklyn. Owner Seamus Jones discovered a love for pickling while working in restaurants, and Brooklyn Brine's long list of pickles reflects his culinary talent. What started in Seamus's garage 5 years ago has become a thriving operation, shipping pickles around the globe. Seamus.
Hey, what's up, Sean?
How you doing, man?
Hey.
Very excited to be here.
Excited to have you.
So tell me, how did this all start?
Brooklyn Brine started in 2009, in some ways to revive this really traditional New York institution.
So Seamus, do you guys source locally when you can?
Absolutely. The two main ingredients that we go through, one being cucumbers, and we process 11,000 pounds a week. Our apple cider vinegar is not only pure apple cider vinegar, also every apple that goes into making that comes from an upstate orchard.
That's great, man.
I would love to show you around.
Let's take a peek.
Cool. This is where all of our production happens. In a nutshell, we have the cucumbers being hand washed, hand cut, hand sorted over here. We have the raw product being stuffed into a jar that has the spice blend, combination of herbs and peppers. We have the brine being poured in, this is the next step, over the raw produce. And then from there, they'll get capped and then processed through the boiling water bath.
Well, you guys are definitely keeping that like local, handmade culture alive, which I think is incredible.
There's no machine or no outsourcing that would do a better job than what we can do here.
Agreed. Well, let's head back to the storefront and try some of these pickles.
Cool.
I feel like I understand the process so much better now. What's first?
I think we should start with our distilled spirit infused whiskey sour pickle.
Here goes. Dude, that's a really good pickle.
Up next, I think our fennel beets. It has fennel seed and fresh tarragon.
Man, that's delicious.
What I thought what would work best in a cocktail was something that might be a little more traditional for people to see in a distilled spirit infused cocktail. So this is our Moroccan bean.
Moroccan bean.
With the addition of preserved lemons, cumin, coriander, caraway, smoked paprika, that I think would deconstruct nicely into a cocktail.
Well, you get the citrus up front and then all those spices that you were talking about right through the middle, but it falls away nicely. It doesn't just linger on the palate.
Yeah.
So I think the bartender will have a lot to work with as far as the flavor profile goes. If you can spare a jar, I'd be happy to take them back and see what they can do with them. Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Great
you guys are
having you
doing
here.
really cool things
Thank you.
here.
Yeah.
Every single one of these pickles was unique and different and delicious.
Cheers.
Really nice meeting you, Seamus.
All right, likewise.
Take it easy.
Have a good one.
You too.
Brooklyn Brine is upholding this area's long tradition of pickling, and these Moroccan beans are such a fun ingredient. There are so many flavor notes for Benjamin to play with. I can't wait to try these in a cocktail.
I now leave the beans in your hands, sir.
I mean, I'm familiar with these guys. I know they do good work. I'm just going to kind of replicate the ingredients they have here listed on the label in terms of a Moroccan spice.
Okay.
I kind of think it'd be fun to do a good salt.
Ah, yes.
A little mortar and pestle.
That's awesome. You guys work with spices behind the bar?
Quite a bit, yeah. Just going right off the label, we have some sugar,
Uh-huh.
a little bit of Maldon sea salt.
What's next?
All right, we got some mustard seed, coriander, cumin,
Okay.
black pepper, caraway, some red pepper for some heat, a little paprika, and then the last thing, I think tamarind would work well with it. And tamarind's a little sour, so it might help us out a bit.
Awesome.
Let's just give it a little grind here.
Do your thing.
Crush up the seeds, make ourselves a salt.
Uh-huh. That is quite the aromatic salt that you've created.
Because it's summer, I kind of think refreshing, but obviously we have some salinity here. So obviously we need some acid in my mind. We're gonna use fresh squeezed lemon juice here.
Okay.
I'm also gonna throw in some fresh pressed cucumber juice.
Mellow it out a bit.
A little simple syrup to sweeten it up.
Okay.
And this brine,
It's an apple cider vinegar, which shouldn't overpower, but a little probably will go a long way.
it's got some acidity too, so we're just gonna put a dash in there, a little quarter of an ounce.
Quarter ounce.
I also happen to have the spirit back here called kumel, which is cumin and caraway and fennel in terms of flavor. So I think that's gonna work well as well. And lastly, we need our booze, right?
Yes.
Some of our Grey Goose vodka here.
Sure, the original. Great way to add a spirit without taking away from all those subtle spices.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so there's our completed cocktail.
I think we should rim our glass here.
Some of that wonderful salt that you made.
Right. Oh, that'll create a good contrast too.
Yeah.
Give it a good shake.
Awesome. Great color on that guy.
Yeah, I think the contrast works pretty well, right?
Yeah.
Let's throw some of our Brooklyn Brine Moroccan green beans on top, maybe.
That looks phenomenal. All right.
Cheers,
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
This is certainly creative, and I bet you it's going to be amazing. Wow. Okay, where do I start? The cucumber and the brine, they really do this beautiful thing where the cucumber gives it this viscosity. You definitely get the Moroccan spice. The Grey Goose actually complements the lemon quite nicely. Really, really well done.
Well, thank you.
All right, so the last thing that we have to do is name this delicious cocktail. Your thoughts, sir?
Well, I happen to know back in the day, pickled green beans used to be called dilly beans. And also we use a dram of kumel in terms of unit of measurement of volume. Maybe we call it the dram dilly.
I love it. Rolls off the tongue.
Absolutely.
Let me just tell you, your dram dilly is the dilly-o. So props to this cocktail. Props to you. Benjamin, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
You guys are doing some really great things here, keeping the people of Tribeca very well quenched. So cheers to you and your bar. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. You know you're always welcome. Come back anytime.
I appreciate that.
Cheers.
See you next time.
So long.
Join me next week in Austin, Texas, where we bring a bit of barbecue back to the bar. Make sure you check out our show sponsor, Grey Goose, and join me all season long as I travel around the country to make amazing cocktails.